Hello, League City. We're here to talk about everything debris related to Hurricane Beryl. I have with me Ryan Edgehill, who is our Emergency Management Coordinator, and Jody Hooks, who's our Executive Director of Public Works. All right, so good news. We are actually going to start picking up large vegetative debris starting
tomorrow morning.
tomorrow. So Friday, July 19th. Tell
Yes,
us what's
ma'am.
going to be happening.
So there'll be different activities with our debris removal contractor, Crowder Gulf. They'll be working in the heavy areas, removing strictly vegetation first, and then they'll come back for fencing and construction type debris. City forces will be working lighter areas so we can kind of move faster in some of the areas where Crowder Gulf's trucks are a little hard to maneuver in. And AmeriWaste, our city's contracted solid waste provider, is obviously working bagged vegetation. They're helping us at our drop-off center at Hometown's Heroes, and they're also have coordinated three upcoming Sundays where they will do areas of the city.
So we're going to do 3 Sundays
Yes.
in a row. We're going to start off this Sunday, July 21st. So if you have Wednesday and Saturday normal garbage pickup, you can put out your bagged tree waste. Now, this is very specific. This is your leaves, this is your small tree branches in bags, and they will pick them up on Sunday, July 21st, if you have Wednesday or Saturday delivery. Following Sunday, July 28th, we have, I believe, Monday and Thursday pickup.
There you go. Yep.
And then August 4th, we have Tuesday and Friday. But if you don't want to wait for all those bags that are collecting in your yard, you can drop them off at Hometown Heroes.
At Hometown
correct?
Heroes, we're going to be open. We changed the hours of operation a little bit. From today through Sunday, it will be 8 through 6. Weather providing. Lightning shut us down yesterday, and obviously we need to keep our employees safe, but we're doing our best to stay open during that time. As the demand lessens, next week we'll probably reduce the operation hours and possibly days, but we're certainly going to get to Monday and early week and make that decision.
So, Ryan, let's switch over and a little bit further into the vegetative debris removal that starts on Friday. So why are we starting first with just vegetative before we start with the fencing and the construction debris?
Right, so the process, for folks who haven't been through it, a lot of this debris cleanup is eligible for federal reimbursement, again, to assist the cities and local governments with the cost of this. It's an extraordinary cost to do this effort. And so FEMA has to kind of prove the categories. One, it's got to be storm related, and then 2, they've got to prove what was in the piles and that it was actually generated from the storm, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a different effort to pick up construction and demolition debris, so things like your fences or maybe some siding or shingles that were ripped off.
Roofs,
Correct.
tiles or whatnot.
Versus the vegetative debris. So as a standard process, the vegetative debris is going to be picked up from your home, taken to a site. It's going to be chipped or ground to make it a smaller package, and then hauled to final disposition. Then they will come back around. They'll pick up the construction and demolition debris. That cannot be reduced, chipped in the same manner. They'll haul that directly to the landfill. So it is 2 different efforts to do those things. So same contractor, you'll see the same trucks throughout the city,
Right.
but it's a different process. So they will be picked up at different times.
So just to reiterate, we are starting first with that large vegetative debris. So if you have not done so already, you need to get that large vegetative debris to the curb within 10 feet of the curb. We don't want to block any mailboxes. We don't want to be
Fire hydrants.
Don't want to be around any fire hydrants. You want to move your car.
Yeah, if you can get your vehicle into the driveway, please do so. These are not small trucks, and then they're not even garbage trucks. These are huge double trailer trucks with a 20-foot grapple on top of them. They're very large. For smaller streets, they're going to come in. They sometimes have to drop a single trailer so they can get a truck in, or even bring small equipment in. But if you can get your vehicles into your driveway, that makes a huge difference.
And they're telling us you don't need to chop it up into small piles. I
Not
mean,
at all.
you don't need to bundle it up. I mean, the bigger the better is actually what they're
easier to
telling us.
handle.
It's
Yeah, more
easier for
efficient.
that grapple to
Well,
pick it
explain
up.
what a grapple is. How does
So
this work?
a grapple is that long, again, 20-foot articulating arm that comes out with the claws on it that can pick up that debris. It's part of the reason that we're offering the bagged pickup. So
Yeah.
that bagged vegetative debris, that's not part of the FEMA operation. In fact, it's not going to be eligible for that FEMA assistance.
That's just everyday
That's just
Ameriwaste
everyday
service.
Ameriwaste service, because those grapple trucks can't deal with that. There's no way for them to pick up those leaves. It's too small for that effort. So again, large arms, big equipment with a fingered arm
Yeah.
on the end that can pick
Yeah.
that stuff up. And it's easier. The bigger it is, the easier it is for them to grab and maneuver.
So number one question we're going to get is, when are they coming, what day, and what time are they coming?
That is an extremely difficult question to answer, unfortunately. And trust me, we all get the frustration
Yeah.
with how this process works. But as they go, street by street, we may have some idea that they may start somewhere, but then they turn down a street and it's a totally different day, right? They're going
Right.
to see something different as more stuff is pushed to the curb. So we know that they're going to be out and about, that we're splitting up east and west side, but unfortunately there's just not a reliable way for us to communicate a specific date and time that they'll be on your street.
Because they're going to find different things when they
If
go.
I can add a little bit to that.
Yeah.
They are committed to starting, just like Ryan said, on the east, west, and central areas of the city, as we are in the city. We'll be running 3 grapple truck crews, and we're going to spread out too. So like Ryan and Sarah said, it's hard to say we'll be here at this time at that day, but we're going to be we're going to have a presence very prevalent citywide. So any help to keep the curbs, especially if you happen to witness this in your neighborhood, any effort to keep the curbs clear. I know a lot of people with teenagers have a lot of cars in their families, and it's tough.
And we're
but,
talking kids'
yeah.
bikes and toys and all those things that
Cars are the biggest
Yeah.
things on the curb, though, because that really hinders the efficiency. I mean, we want to get done, we want to get quick, but when they get in there and having to maneuver around cars, it just slows things down. But they're able to do it. But any help from the residents is very appreciated.
Well, and separating the waste is absolutely one of the key
Very
things.
critical. If you have it mixed, I don't know if they'll pass it up, but they will not separate it, and it's handled in a much slower manner.
If they can get it, they will. They'll make an effort,
Yeah.
but it really needs to be separated. Bagged, construction, and loose vegetative all needs to be separated.
Well, because again, if they see a bunch of fence boards mixed up into that tree debris, they're two
Yeah,
separate things.
they
You
can't
said
grind
they
it.
chip, they
It-
can't
yeah,
grind it.
yeah,
They
correct.
can't grind the fence boards. That has to go directly into the landfill. So it's crucial that you separate it into that large vegetative pile, that construction fencing debris, and then that bag debris. And I want to reiterate too that when they're done picking up your large vegetative debris, if you've got leaves and little sticks and little branches, that needs to be put in a bag. They're not going to come back and do some.
That's a good point. They will not do that. Yeah.
And you'll
Yeah,
see
the other degree of separation. Please don't forget is your household garbage needs to be completely separated from bagged vegetation, because that's a bad mix right there.
Yeah, we certainly don't want any household garbage going
Because
in.
that can impact your normal solid waste pickup as well.
So we've had some folks on social media wondering why this didn't immediately happen right after the storm was over. So we do want to address that. We had
Sure.
we had a company in place.
Right. So as a standard procedure, I mean, we know that we're going to get storms. That's not a secret to us. And so normal procedure is that at all times we have pre-positioned contractors. So our debris removal and our debris monitoring contract, those are the two pieces that we need to do this operation. We have them on a standby contract at all times. Of course, there is a process that once we activate them, to get them spun up, they've got to get trucks in here. They get trucks certified. So again, FEMA has to know if a truck is X cubic yards, they want proof that that truck really is X cubic yards and that we're paying for what we're actually getting, not being overcharged for anything. So there's a time delay in all of that. And then, of course, just giving residents enough time to push that debris to the curb. Of course, there are other jurisdictions that may start sooner than us with a lot of the same contractors we have. again, we want to make sure that the bulk of that is out there so we can get a good idea of actually what we're
Yeah.
dealing with before the trucks are running.
And there's a lot of paperwork. Bless you.
There is a
Bless you,
lot of
Ryan,
paperwork.
because you have been dealing with. We have to have permits of where we're going to be depositing
Correct.
all of this waste. We have to have permits for the trucks. We have to. I mean, there's a million steps.
There's a lot of moving pieces, yes.
And you've been dealing with all of that, you and
Yes.
Jody. So we are appreciative of that. So once again, just to reiterate, tomorrow, Friday, July 19th, we're going to start picking up a vegetative, that large vegetative debris first, and then they're going to make another pass and do that construction, fencing, any kind of roof tiles, siding, and we'll let folks know when that second pass is going to be once they get all that
Absolutely,
vegetative debris out. So it's very, very, very important that if you have anything on your property that's large vegetative debris, to put it out to the curb within 10 feet of the curb, so our trucks can, or so our contractor trucks can start picking that up. And they're going to be out starting Friday, pretty much every day, right?
Right, yep.
Yep, they run 7 days a week.
weather.
Weather permitting.
yeah,
Now,
permitting.
very easily the trucks will be out in the neighborhoods in the rain and some of the storms. The biggest concern there is that reduction site. So where they have to deposit that debris and then chip, that gets gummed up or they can't access that. That
Yeah.
could slow things down a little bit, but you should see trucks out every day throughout the city.
Absolutely. Anything else you gentlemen want to add before we say goodbye?
No, I would just say we appreciate everyone's patience as we get through this. We know it's a big push and it can be frustrating, but the League City Strong, that mentality, neighbors
Yeah.
helping neighbors. I mean, it's just when we have these events, what we see after the storm is just incredible from our residents.
What about you, Mr. Hooks?
Also, to kind of bounce off what Ryan said, for the residents have done a great job
Yeah.
in separating their stuff. we've all driven a lot of areas. I've scouted as much as we could at different times, and everybody's doing a great job, of separating and trying to do the right thing. And we appreciate y'all's patience for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, League City, for understanding, having patience that this is going to take several weeks. One of our estimates that we're hearing from our contractors that we have 50,000 cubic feet.
Cubic yards.
Cubic yards, excuse
Yeah,
me,
yards,
but even
yeah.
more cubic yards of waste that needs to be picked up. And if you put that in perspective, if you have one dump truck, that's about 10 cubic yards of dirt. So just think how many dump trucks that is when you're talking 50,000. So this is why this is going to take weeks and not days. So we appreciate your patience with this. We appreciate your understanding, and stay tuned for more information. We'll be here on Facebook to give it to you when we have it. Thanks for watching.